My name is Whitey Wright. In 1944, I was a fighter pilot based near Colchester, England. In early June, we were on double daylight savings time, and the weather had been cloudy and cold and drizzling. Suddenly, June 3rd, security was tightened. Returning home from a mission into the Calais area, we were grounded and restricted to the base. Rumors were flying, and the prevailing comment was, "This is it." Even the German radio had signed off with, "We'll be waiting for you." Rousted out early on June 6, we were fed some soup and hustled off to a briefing which confirmed our rumors. We were to patrol a corridor in the English Channel off the coast of Normandy over a place with a code name Omaha. Orders were to keep that corridor clear of all aircraft. Even if they had friendly identification, challenge them. If they didn't turn away, shoot them down. Goering had said that the invasion must be driven off, even if the Luftwaffe perishes, so a real Donnybrook was expected. I was a little uptight. A few days before, I had been hit by ground fire while strafing a train near the Ruhr Valley. And I crashed trying to land back at our base. Earlier, I had wondered how I would react when faced with mortal danger, and when it happened, I found myself calmer than I expected, and everything just seemed to move in slow motion. However, I can still feel the thrill of anticipation as we taxied out under the line of planes, snaking their way along the perimeter track, and then lining up in pairs for takeoff. As they lifted off and turned left to circle, you could see flares of different colors in the distance, signaling the bombers where to form up. And you wondered how it all happens without mid-air crashes. And then it's your turn. You and your wingman turn onto the runway and hold your brakes and run up the throttles. As you release the brakes, the plane almost leaps forward, pushing you back against the armor-plated seat, and your mind is suddenly yanked back into focus. We were over the channel as it got light, and I couldn't believe it. As we dropped down out of the overcast, we could see hundreds of ships strung out from the Isle of Wight almost to the French shore. As far as you could see, ships everywhere. Through low scudding clouds, you could occasionally glimpse battleships in miniature, steaming offshore, firing salvos onto the coast, and tiny landing craft pushing toward the shore, some disappearing in a fountain of water. Everything seemed unreal. All I could think of was playing with my lead toy soldiers when I was a little boy, except that this was real, and down there people were dying. Surprisingly, the Luftwaffe never appeared in force. We only saw occasional planes in our area, all of whom took off when we attacked. The next 4 days, we rotated flights over Omaha beachhead, 3 missions per day, averaging 10 hours a day in the plane. Weather turned worse, ranging from drizzle to heavy rain and a 600 to 1,000-foot ceiling. Often we returned all the way back to the base, flying on instruments, and our parachutes felt as if they were welded to our backs. With the landing secure, we were assigned to harass German reinforcements trying to get to the beachhead. Our losses climbed, and empty bunks were quickly filled with new pilots. Often you hardly knew them before they were gone, and perhaps it's just as well. I was fortunate and went on to complete 67 missions and returned home for reassignment almost exactly 2 years from the day I had kissed my mother goodbye. Out of a total of 105 combat pilots assigned to the squadron in 1944, 43 completed their tour and came home. On the 50th anniversary of D-Day, I was asked to talk with 6th graders about the war, and at one session a little girl asked if I had ever killed anyone. I had to say yes. And then she asked why. The most obvious and difficult question I've ever struggled to answer in a way that she would understand. And as I think back on those times, I'm struck by how young and provincial and naive we really were, some not even out of their teens. We weren't even aware of it. So many young people from all over our country and all walks of life who had never been over 100 miles away from home were thrown together, learned to get along, united to become comrades, and eventually helped turn the tide of fascism, an experience that is beyond my capability to describe with justice.